The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Salem Media of Hawaii.
Welcome to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic.
Marko Mijuskovic is registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities LLC, 7 Hanover Square, New York, 10004, and at Wealth Strategy Partners, 677 Ala Moana Boulevard, Suite 720, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96813. This show is for informational purposes only. Individual risk tolerance and investment objectives must be reviewed prior to making any specific recommendations.
And now your host, Marko Mijuskovic.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, and you are listening Hawaii Money Resource exclusively on Wednesday night, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Hawaii Money Resource online and HawaiiMoneyResource.com, HawaiiMoneyResource.com. Best place for you to download the podcast. Subscribe for the podcast so you're always in tune when the podcast is listed. And of course, you can listen live. If you are in front of the computer or in front of your phone, you can always stream live our shows on Wednesday, 5 p.m. You can also tune in old-fashioned way on your radio, AM 760 KGU. Hawaii Money Resource been around since 2011, and we interview over 350, close to 400 business owners statewide and nationwide on our radio show. Try to pick their brain for 1 hour, try to educate you as much as we can through their experience. Today is nothing going to be different. We do have a guest. And by the way, when we don't have a guest, we talk about business and business exit planning. Don't forget to check our website, businessexitplanninghawaii.com, businessexitplanninghawaii.com, and register for our upcoming event. We have the most important business workshop of the year coming up. Make sure you register. Limited seating. You can see and inquire a little bit more about this event at businessexitplanninghawaii.com. Okay, let's go and introduce our special guest for today, Patrick Bullard. Patrick is the principal of H&B, Heinrich and Bullard Marketing. Patrick, welcome to Hawaii Money Resource.
Thank you, Marko. I'm honored to be here and be one of the special guests that you've chatted with in the islands over the years. Yeah,
we're just going to add you to our resume. And this is perfect. We're going to have a great conversation. Why? Because you're running a marketing firm.
This is true. I have some valuable insights I think I could share, and some invaluable ones probably as well that may not even be advertising or marketing related, but I'll try and keep the audience entertained, you entertained as well today.
Perfect. Give me a 30 seconds elevator pitch for your company.
Well, our company is a full-service advertising and marketing and public relations firm. I've been working in Honolulu, in Hawaii, and internationally in this industry for well over 30 years, and we're what I would term more of a boutique agency that does things a little bit differently. We have some great clients that we do work for, and then we also take on some unique opportunities because I have a very odd skill set.
That you acquire over a number of years.
Yes. Does that sound like the line from the movie Taken? Yes. And trust me, I won't be killing you after the show is over.
Okay, I hope not. Patrick, I appreciate the 30 seconds, and we're going to talk more in our second segment. But before we get into that, let's talk about you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Where are you from?
Well, I grew up here in Hawaii. I grew up in Kailua. My dad was actually ran a wholesale marketing business here in Hawaii for a number of years, and I kind of grew up in his footsteps, and yet it wasn't something that I chose for my career, although I learned a lot from him. But I grew up in Kailua. I went to high school here in Hawaii, St. Louis High School, and then I went to the University of Hawaii. I majored in broadcast communications because I wanted to be a disc jockey. I
guess that was popular back in the days.
It was. I loved music. It just as people my age truly appreciate music, and I love music so much that I listen to the radio all of the time. And between loving music and wanting to play music, I thought there couldn't be anything better than being a DJ. So that was what I centered my career on early on, was becoming a DJ, which I eventually did, but I wasn't very good at it. So I got into advertising.
Perfect. And now running the firm, as a principal of the firm, you probably already figure out, I hope you already figure out how to balance your personal time with your professional time. So give me a scoops. How do you do it?
Honestly, we're in a service industry business, and tell you the truth, it's very difficult to find balance, because we're so focused on taking care of the client's needs quite often that client's needs supersede your own needs often. But as I've learned over the years, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. In what we do in advertising and marketing, it's so creative, brain-driven, thought-provoking conversations, a lot of thinking, a lot of deep diving into whatever the client's needs or issues are, or just broader strokes where we're trying to think about what we're going to accomplish with the campaign, and just the mundane things that I have to do, which are, paperwork and filing and those things. It's all very taxing, if you will, to the mind. And so I find that at the end of the day, I've always said there has to be some sort of reward. If you go work very hard all day long and you do great things, and hopefully your clients are very happy, and the people you work with, your employees and your staff and the people affiliated with you are all very happy, you do great things, there should be a reward at the end of the day. And as you could probably tell, before I got married about a little over 10 years ago, and when I got married, I started putting on a little bit of weight, and I love to cook. I love to eat just as much, but I love wine and enjoying meals with friends and family, and so my reward at the end of the day is having a good glass or two of wine and a nice meal. Do you usually prepare yourself, or it depends? Well, I actually love to cook. So last night I cooked dinner. I don't mind cooking, even on a day when I come home and I'm tired. I've had a challenging day. Sometimes the cooking is very therapeutic, and I'll cook a wide range of meals. What did you cook last night? Last night was shrimp scampi. Nice. So I guess it's a way, it's an outlet. It's a way your mind focused on something else and you forget your busy day. Yeah. So I guess that's what you can use to unplug. But in general, is it hard for you to kind of like switch your mind and go from like thinking about a business to like be 100% in that particular moment at home and kind of like do not think about that deadline that you need to make or the client that you need to do something? I mean, is the cooking the way or anything else? Yeah, it could be cooking. Sometimes it's painting. On Sunday, I found a wall that needed painting, and I just wanted to take my mind out of everything else that was going on. I just needed me time. The cooking is very helpful. Playing with our dogs, or again, getting together with family and friends, just to try and take myself away from the business side of it. But honestly, I'm completely ADD. Hey, look, a chicken. No, there's not a chicken over there. But I'm so ADD that it works out perfect for me in advertising, because you have to be able to change gears quickly, very, very easily. In public relations, to client, to media, to situation to situation. So being ADD allows me to do that. For years, I wasn't able to probably separate what I was thinking about with the business to unwinding enough, probably as much as I needed to at home. As I've gotten older, I've gotten far better at the separation, and I appreciate the need for it far more as I've gotten older, because you have to have me time. You have to have downtime.
Go crazy.
Yeah, you got to recharge your batteries.
And I bet the couple glasses of wine helps.
It does. It absolutely. It sure doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
The one thing that that I've shared with people over the years, because with me in my business, much like you and yours, you have to be on, right? When you're talking to clients or people that you're working with, you're on. You're on
stage.
You're on stage. You're sharing your opinions and your views and your thoughts. And so when you're done at the end of the day and the mic is off, or whatever you're working on, you're done. You just got to be you. And I really appreciate that time. The older I get, the more I appreciate that time.
Perfect. Last question for you before we take our first break. Other than cooking, is there any other hobbies that you love?
Well, I do love music. I used to be, because of my desire to be a disc jockey at one point in time, just love music. My wife and I will go to concerts, shows. I'm constantly, again, probably because I am ADD, I can have a music playing in the background. I can have the TV on, and I can be doing something else and multitasking with pretty much everything, but music is always it's always on in my office.
You play any instruments?
No, I play the radio very well. I can play the radio great. I'm sure that this particular radio station loves that. I attempted when I was younger to learn how to play the piano and the guitar, and my fingers don't always cooperate. Just like when I'm sending an email or typing something. I have more typos and email failures than most people would. Thank God I don't play the piano, because you'd hear them and you'd walk right out on me. But anyway, no current instruments other than the radio.
Perfect. Patrick, I appreciate you sharing a little bit about yourself. We're going to take our first break. Today's guest is Patrick Bullard. Patrick is a principal of H&B, Heinrich and Bullard Marketing. You can find him online, heinrich.com.
Yes,
is that website?
Yes.
Or you guys are located 1132 Bishop Street, Suite 1420. Phone number is 566-0572. I guess that is the office.
Yes, that's our office line, yes.
Perfect. I always encourage people to check it online first, or you can call them directly, 566-0572. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
KGU, part of the Wall Street Business Network.
MetLife Guaranteed Acceptance Whole Life Insurance is for living life, for your family, and leaving only great memories. With MetLife Guaranteed Acceptance Whole Life Insurance, you can help make sure the ones you love won't be burdened by final expenses when you're gone. One phone call to MetLife can help cover many of these expenses, like credit card bills, medical expenses, and funeral costs. MetLife Guaranteed Acceptance Whole Life Insurance. It's for the living. Talk to a MetLife representative right now at 800-675-5250. Like most insurance policies, MetLife policies contain exclusions, limitations, reductions of benefits, and terms for keeping them in force. MetLife can provide you with costs and complete details. Guaranteed Acceptance Whole Life Insurance is issued by MetLife Insurance Company, USA, Charlotte, North Carolina, and in New York by Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, New York, New York. With one call, you can apply for a MetLife Guaranteed Acceptance Whole Life Insurance policy right now at 800-675-5250. That's 800-675-5250.
Now, what's this? Hold it now. This is the milk. Whole milk in this carton. But wait, low fat and no fat. Low fat and no fat. Now, they're milk too, and yet their names rhyme. Whole milk, low fat, no fat. Wow, that's a lot of milk, huh?
This man may sound odd to you and me.
Oh, and look at this. Cheese. Now, cheese is made out of milk, huh?
But to his 3-year-old daughter who is helping to pick out food she likes, he makes perfect sense.
All different kinds of cheese. Honey, here's one. Oh, it has holes in it.
Learning starts long before school does, and children are naturally curious. They want to learn, so follow their lead. Take simple everyday moments like riding the bus, getting ready for work, or even shopping for groceries, and turn them into learning moments.
It's called Swiss.
Swiss has holes.
That's right. Hey, now, wait a minute. This one's called Gorgonzola. Can you say Gorgonzola?
Coca-Cola.
All right, we can work on that one.
Turn everyday moments into learning moments. Find out how at bornlearning.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Once upon a time, there was a business owner who worked hard and watched his company flourish. Then came the time to sell his company and retire in Palm Beach. But the path to his happily ever after was full of pitfalls and monstrous taxes. Whatever was he to do?
It's not a fairy tale, and the wrong strategy can deprive you of a storybook ending. I'm Marko Mijuskovic, and I know about business valuation. I'm also a specialist in business exit, asset protection, and estate planning. Visit my website, businessexitplanninghawaii.com, and I promise you'll find more than just a trail of breadcrumbs.
BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com is an online resource designed to help you prepare for the final stage of your business's life cycle. At BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com, you'll have no trouble at all finding workshops, podcasts, videos, articles, and more. Your happily ever after is just a click away at BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com.
You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the outer islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, senior partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also certified exit planner. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource exclusively on Wednesday night, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. If you're a business owner stuck and you don't know where to go, give us a call, 695-2102, 695-2102. We're not going to charge you for the complimentary consultations. The first one, it's always good to have someone to bounce your ideas and see where you're heading and where you want to be and how you're going to get out of that business. Don't forget, businessexitplanninghawaii.com. Businessexitplanninghawaii.com is the place for you to learn about how to grow your business so you can exit in style. Okay, let's go back to our guest today, Patrick Bullard. Patrick is the principal of Heinrich and Bullard Marketing. Patrick, so far so good. You're pretty entertaining. I can see that you are in marketing, okay? And that's always helpful when you're running a radio show. We need people to talk. Patrick, the question, actually take me down the memory lane and let me know how this all started with you being involved in marketing. I know you mentioned briefly that you want to be a DJ. And you know, I know people across over on the other side of the glass, they appreciate that. But you know, how do you get into the marketing, and how did you end up here?
My story is very bizarre. It took a lot of twists and turns. It was not planned at all.
It's like a Korean drama.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like you're just trying to figure out what's going on, and then somebody gets killed, and they got poisoned with something. Yeah. So I knew I wanted to be a disc jockey. That was something I wanted to do. And my counselor in high school encouraged me to go to the University of Hawaii, go into broadcast communications. I did that. I interned at a couple of radio stations here. In fact, the very first radio station that I interned at here in Hawaii was KGU. I was the station KGU was actually in the where the Star Advertiser news building is on. Or was on Kapiolani, and I went there in the evenings, and I was given work to do that nobody else wanted to do. So I had an appreciation immediately for what it was like to be an intern. And I'll tell you a little bit more later, because we use interns in our business currently because it's my way of giving back. But while I was going to the University of Hawaii, I had a very interesting opportunity pop up to become the campus rep for Budweiser. And the drinking age
on campus.
And on campus. The drinking age back then was 18. And so everybody that was in college, it was almost mandatory that you had to drink. It wasn't really wasn't an option. So my task was to get everybody that wanted to drink beer to drink Budweiser. But this is around the time where we had to start telling people to drink safely. So, drink responsibly, drink safely. And so that was my first taste of advertising. and marketing. And I learned a tremendous amount in about a 2-year period while I was this campus rep person. And little things about, just when we would go to a bar, I thought it was so cool. I'm in college, and we would have meetings with the Budweiser team. We would go to a bar, and we'd all get to have beer at lunch. I thought, what could be better than this? But what I did learn is if you're going to order a beer, you have to face your label facing out so that everybody could see the Budweiser logo. And that was marketing. And I kind of went, I get this, because it was some of the things that I did with my father in his business. And I started to gravitate a little bit more towards really liking marketing. And I took a job teaching first aid with the Red Cross. I had a number of odd jobs, working in a pizza parlor. I worked as a waiter. I did actually work as a DJ outside of college at a number of radio stations here. And but I was probably working 2, 3, 4 jobs at any given time just to try and get ahead and make ends meet. And I took this job with the Red Cross, where I was helping with first aid, teaching first aid programs for kids, really, and in intermediate and high school level. And the program that we put together was unique to Hawaii, and the Red Cross submitted it for an award, and it won a national award. Just prior to that winning, I had decided that I was going to open a little ad agency in Kailua with 3 of my friends. We had no idea what we were doing, but we were going to learn, and we were committed to figuring this thing out as we went. Things are very different then. There were computers and things that we have now were non-existent, so everything was done with typewriters, and it was very archaic at the time. But we opened a little ad agency, and so I had a little bit of a taste of advertising. But when I won the award for the Red Cross, the chairman of the Red Cross at the time, Marty Schiller, who is now my neighbor, was the head of Ogilvy and Mather, which was a very large advertising agency here. And I was given an opportunity, thanks to another friend that was working there, to go work there. And I went there. Ogilvy and Mather was a very, very large agency, and everything was compartmentalized, where this person does this person does this, gives it to this person passes it back to this person. And I learned a lot, but I also learned it was the worst place in the world for me, because I like doing a little bit of everything, and when you do a little bit of everything, you get in other people's kuleana, yeah. And so it didn't quite work for me. So I went to go work in management for a radio station. I was promotion director at KQMQ, which at one time while I was there had the highest ratings they ever got, because we did some tremendous fun promotions. And then I went back to work at KGU. And I was a promotion director and assisted with management at KGU. This would have been probably about 1990 or so. And during that time, I realized that I wanted to do something a little bit different. And so after I left there, I did some television production, and I thought, well, TV's kind of fun. And so I started working in television. I ended up producing a TV show in Hawaii called The Bikini Open, which was the number 2 rated show on pay-per-view behind WWF wrestling at the time, and it was huge.
I probably know why.
Yes, it was a swimwear contest with men and women. But they went all over the world. And so, I worked with them for a couple of years. Great people. We're still really great friends today. It was a lot of fun. And then I realized that I needed to get another real job again. So I eventually got back into advertising. And I've worked at an ad agency, in an ad agency environment since probably 1995. I did work for the government for a short period of time on the Marine base. I worked for the MWR office. I created all of their sponsorships and PR for such things such as Bayfest and some of the events that they still carry on today. It was a tremendous opportunity. I learned a lot. I sound like Donald. It was a tremendous opportunity. That was a disaster. Anyway, it was really it was good.
Are we going to make America great again?
Yes, we're going to make Hawaii great again.
There you go.
And you can make Hawaii great again by listening to this radio show, I think, and learning from Marko.
And maybe starting your own business.
And starting your own business, be an entrepreneur.
Correct.
So I continued the ad agency format with a lady named Jean Myers, who I worked for 7 years. She ran Myers Advertising. I learned a tremendous amount of things from her about advertising. I have a tremendous respect for her. She eventually sold her ad agency to Ogilvy and Mather, which I had already worked for once and decided that wasn't for me. However, at the time, I'd acquired a little client called Papa John's Pizza. And Papa John's was growing in Hawaii. And when Jean was going to sell the agency to this other agency, I had an opportunity to really shop myself around, if you will. And so I ended up going to another ad agency called AdWorks, which was at the time the third largest agency in Hawaii. And we were growing in leaps and bounds. And then a couple of unfortunate things happened where Singular bought AT&T Wireless, and overnight we had lost one of our largest clients, and that was essentially one of the daggers that forced AdWorks to close. However, being as resilient and mostly lucky and blessed as I've been, I rebounded it immediately to take my clients again to another ad agency with another fellow, and we worked together for a couple of years, and then we had a divorce, I will say, in our business, and then I ended up in 2007 being introduced to a guy named George Eddy that was the owner of Heinrich Marketing. He's not Heinrich Marketing was founded in Colorado in about 1970s, I want to say 77 or so, and it was designed to help people in the financial industry because they were specialists in getting people to open what we would term as junk mail, but people to get you to open those letters that have you sign up for a credit card or some kind of financial advice or something, and they were extremely successful at it and still are. They were part of turning Macy's around. The coupon things that everybody gets in the mail from Macy's, that was Heinrich that created that program, and they're still working on that today. They've done a number of banks, everybody from Discover to Bank of America, and the reason they got started in Hawaii was they were doing work for First Hawaiian Bank. And they said, hey, there's an opportunity to open an office here. Well, my predecessor, Mark Witter, worked with George Eddy to get the office going here. And then in 2007, I was brought in to kind of get rolling and then kind of grow the business. What turned the corner for us
quickly. Why did you join them? Because they're not small firm.
No, they're
and you already had one negative experience with a large firm.
Correct. What because of the way that we operate in Hawaii, it gave me the autonomy to still do all the things that I enjoy, that I'm good at, which could be writing radio commercials, writing and producing, directing television, doing public relations, creating print ads, concepting with clients, strategy. I still could do all that, and I didn't have the constraints of the compartmentalized giant agency. So it gave me the ability to do all the things that I wanted to in Hawaii, and eventually what really was worked out really well for us was I had an opportunity through a relationship to pick up Humana. Humana had a desire to grow in Hawaii because people in Humana's Medicare insurance, healthcare Medicare insurance, and people in Hawaii are very healthy. And so Humana wanted to have a presence in Hawaii and grow their presence because people are very healthy in Hawaii. And they thought, wow, that'd be great. So they opened an office here. They were here for a few years. It just never really took off. It was slow going. And then they kind of said, well, maybe we need an ad agency in Hawaii because they were using an ad agency in Florida.
Right. It's not the same thing.
Not the same thing. You have to have a real good understanding of Hawaii and the market. And so they gave us an opportunity. I flew to Phoenix and met with people in the regional office. They said, okay, go do it. And within 1 year, we had just about doubled their business. And then they said, wow, you did so great with Hawaii. We're looking at expanding Southern California. Could you put something together for us? And our team and the Denver team put something together. And they said, okay, well, we're going to give you the whole Western region. And so we kind of took off as a team, and that's contributed greatly to the Hawaii office and as well as the Denver office's exposure.
So you started with them 2007, you said?
Correct, yeah.
How did you manage to add your last name to the Heinrich last name? Is it part of the branding for Hawaii here, or,
yes.
or is it part of the succession for the Mr. Heinrich?
Well,
what was the deal?
Yeah, so the idea was we actually first added Mark Witter, was Heinrich Witter Bullard, to the and Mark's no longer with us. He's in Texas. But the idea was to say there was another ad agency in Hawaii that had a very similar H name, and when we were participating in discussions, people would get us confused. And so we wanted to remove the confusion between us and the other H advertising agency name, and because I grew up here, so we're very local. We understand the market. We wanted to put a local name and a local face behind the entire entity, and so that became part of our branding, if you will, to tell people, yeah, we're local. And people, I've been doing this for 30 years, so most people, in fact, there's probably a handful of people here at this radio station sitting in their offices now that I've worked with for 20, 30 years. So it just made good sense to add it to the name.
Perfect. We're going to take our second break. Today's guest is Patrick Bullard. Patrick is the principal of Heinrich & Bullard, H&B Marketing. You can find him online at heinrich.com or 566-0572, 566-0572. My name is Marko Mijuskovic. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
How would you like to work in the world of finance? Wealth Strategy Partners is considering smart, motivated financial associates. You will have the potential to earn competitive earnings while providing a necessary service to the community. Furthermore, when you join Wealth Strategy Partners, you will be eligible to receive a full benefits package, including insurance, a pension plan, and more. If you enjoy working with people and have an interest in making a difference in people's lives, contact Wealth Strategy Partners, 695-2102. That's 695-2102. Make the call that could change your life. 695-2102. Join Wealth Strategy Partners, 695-2102. Registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, abbreviated PAS, 7 Hanover Square, New York, 10004. Securities, products, or services and advisory services are offered through PAS, a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, 888-600-4667. PAS is a member of FINRA SIPC.
You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the Outer Islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource every Wednesday night, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. You can also stream live or hear us online at hawaiimoneyresource.com, hawaiimoneyresource.com, 695-2102 if you have any questions when it comes to the business and preparing your business for exit. If not, you can always check our business exit planning hawaii.com website and sign up, register for an upcoming event. Let's go back to our guest today, H&B Marketing, or Heinrich and Bullard Marketing. We have Patrick Bullard, principal of the company, with us in the studio today, and he just gave us extensive memory, down the memory lane of how this all started. I guess when you're marketing, your mind works in a different mode, and everything is an opportunity, right? It's just how you package it.
I see opportunity in virtually everything, which is it's probably my greatest problem. Mm-hmm. Is that you could talk to me about the shirt that you're wearing and how it was made and where it came from, and then I'd start thinking about what we could do to market that and grow it. It's a professional
issues.
Yeah. Yes. I definitely have issues. It's either a curse or a blessing. But my mind gravitates to stuff immediately that way, whether like it or not.
So since 2007, let's talk about company right now. How are you handling here? I guess there is a Denver office, and that's a part of a Heinrich, and then there is a Honolulu office over here, and you guys probably work in synergy. Everybody has what they're handling, I guess. It's a part of the big team.
Yeah, so we work with the team in Denver. They do most of the back end stuff. What we call back end would be accounting and support services. And then the team in Hawaii handles all the things that are relevant to the
creative stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that we do in Hawaii. So I'll literally write and produce most of the TV and the radio ads. I direct the commercials. We collaborate. We have teams that we collaborate with. There's earlier when I said we're sort of a unusual advertising agency. It's because we actually collaborate here in Hawaii with other ad agencies and other marketing folks. Which in many circuits would be considered taboo. It's something you don't do. But I have personal relationships with people that I know are better at things than I am, and have relationships that could benefit the client or the whatever the project is that we're working on. So usually we get together and we shake hands and we look at the opportunity and just figure out what we could do to do something better.
But there's nothing negative there. That's all positive stuff, and probably client likes it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We wouldn't do anything if it wasn't in the best interest of the client. Yeah,
exactly. So marketing, advertising, what will be your specialty? Like a lot of time, this marketing agency, they have their own specialty. There's either special segment of the industry, or industry itself, or companies, or whatever. So what will be your competitive advantage? Why you versus, I don't know, someone else out there?
Ultimately, when I ask this very same question of other people, right? And everybody, our clients, when we're putting together a campaign, the client will say, "Well, it's the people," and we're working on something right now where we just did a series of video interviews for a client, and they say it's cliche, but it's the people. Well, it is in our case, it's the people, but it's also, as I mentioned before, the particular set of skills that we bring to the table, which makes us unique and different. And it's the way we approach things with a very can-do attitude, very positive. we look at things differently, and I, because of I've worked in TV, I've worked in print, I've worked in radio, I've worked in public relations, I work for the government, I've worked on the retail side, the wholesale side. I've got a pretty broad perspective of what can be done, what needs to be done, and then the things that we've actually worked on for clients over the years in putting together marketing plans and strategies and things. Some have been very successful. I'll be honest. Like one of our clients, Papa John's Pizza, we put together a marketing strategy for them that grew the business. When they opened here in 1998, there was about 65 Pizza Huts and probably about 30 Domino's. Today, there's, I don't know, I want to say there's probably about 10 Domino's, 7, 8 Domino's, and maybe about 25 Pizza Huts. Part of that is just the industry itself has changed, where Pizza Hut used to be the red roof where people would go dine, and now it's more of a takeout-oriented business. Mm-hmm. So we can't take credit for, some of the changes that the industry itself was going to shape. But we came out with a really good strategy for Papa John's to make them Kamina, bring them into the market, and we did that very quickly, cost efficiently, and in the last few years, they've been either named as Franchise of the Year or runner-up as Franchise of the Year in their whole system. In 2002, they were named International Franchise of the Year because at that time they were small and Hawaii was considered an international market. Now they're part of the national because their sales are literally leading the country. They've had astounding sales growth. And, they have a great team. They've got a great product. They have great operations. And we just tried to be smarter we didn't have as much money as their competitors, but we tried to be smarter with the money that they had. Yeah.
So you said that your experience is very handy, and it's kind of based on per person and how that person is creative. What will you do, like as H&B, to make it so it doesn't depend solely on that particular person in this situation? What if you get hit by the bus?
Well, I would probably cry, and hopefully an ambulance would
if
come.
If you survive, right?
Yeah, if I survive. I'm optimistic that I would, but there's no guarantees. But,
you understand my question.
Yeah.
Because this is like sort of like art, and it solely depends on the person who is executing it and creativity of that person.
Yeah.
How the company will survive if that person is gone?
Right now, what we're doing is we've added staff to our team that understand the same vision. And I've literally brought people on after interviewing them saying, you remind me of me 30 years ago. And they have this same twisted sense of humor, a relentless, foolish ability to continue working in any given day, no matter what they should be doing or thinking about beyond the work. And there are people that that can multitask, that have the same ADD, capabilities that I have, because you have to bounce from thing to thing. And I can honestly say that we have a team that has the same kind of vision, the same kind of desire, the same creative abilities. Now, granted, mine took years and years and years to
evolve,
refine.
Right, yeah.
Right. And these when I hired the folks, I said, okay, I'm going to help mentor you and give you the ability to learn, grow, make mistakes, make changes, and do all the things that you want to do, that you're capable of. And when I was younger, because I had worked in TV and radio and print, I'd moved around, and I actually had a saying that I'd say to myself at one time: if I didn't like a movie, I'd get up and leave. I didn't like a job, I'd get up and leave too. But then I got a mortgage, and that changed everything. So you couldn't just get up and leave. So I realized, okay, I've got to stick around a little bit. But there was a point in my career where when I would go in for an interview, people would go, well, you've moved around quite a bit, Mr. Bullard. And I thought after I heard that a few times, I went, oh, God, this is horrible. It is. I've moved around all over the place. The thing that I learned was moving around was the best thing I ever did, because I had more points of reference and more experience than most people ever. Nobody else could capture the things that I'd done, because I'd done a little bit of everything. And I was fortunate that I had some wonderful mentors that gave me the ability to be a sponge and soak up all those things. And I was the biggest sponge you could ever imagine. I learned so much from so many people, and then I applied my own skill set to my career as I grew. And honestly, I'm just very fortunate and blessed that I learned a lot, and I have the ability to share that as with our staff, our employees, and our clients.
How do you make your company be on top of everything what's going on in the whole world of promotion and marketing, especially when we have social media taking such a tremendous leap and taking pretty much the front seat when it comes to the primary way of promoting the businesses? How do you stay on top of it, since it's so impersonal?
Honestly, it's ever evolving because of the technology. I probably would have gotten out of advertising 30 years ago if the technology hadn't evolved, because it was so archaic. But now, because it's evolving so fast, it's very difficult to stay on top of it. And so I read as much as I can, Google, I go to seminars and try and learn as much as I can from other people, the best and the brightest, to learn the best practices that other people are utilizing, and then again combine it with my own knowledge and skill set.
Sounds like in order for business to be successful, you need to form your followers. You need to form your little social network. And once you reach the critical mass, you're pretty much set. And it's required more than just like you sending them a coupons. You actually need to be more personal with them. Like you almost like need to hang out with everybody like daily and drink a beer.
Yeah. I mean that's if everybody that was going to be a customer of a certain business could have a particular relationship with them in some manner, as you described, Marko, that's the best case scenario, right? Because you're building, everything in marketing is building a relationship, either from scratch or through your parents, or maybe your dad owned a Ford, or your mom liked a certain cheeseburger or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. Those things that's what builds the relationship. We had a bank that we used to work with before, and the idea was to have kids come in to sign up for a savings account when they weren't high enough to go to the bathroom, tall enough to go to the bathroom by themselves, but they would have a savings account at this bank to build a relationship, right?
From the get-go.
Yeah.
Why don't we take our last break for today? Patrick Bullard. Patrick is the principal of H&B Marketing on Heinrich and Bullard. 566-0572, 566-0572. Patrick, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
.760 KGU. Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
We all want to retire someday, but how will you afford it? Marko Mijuskovic here, financial advisor for Wealth Strategy Partners. Times are tough, but nothing brings comfort and security like having a financial strategy. Some financial strategies can be complicated. All those numbers and percentage points. It makes your head spin. But that's why I created an easier to understand system called Retirement Income Timeline. Let me analyze your situation using my retirement income timeline, and I'll show you how you may be able to turn your money worries of today into a stress-free retirement of tomorrow. It's easy. Just call me and I'll assist you. Get your personal retirement income timeline by me, Marko Mijuskovic, today. Call 695-2102, 695-2102.
Registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, abbreviated PAS, 7 Hanover Square, New York, 10004. Securities products or services and advisory services are offered through PAS, a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor. 888-600-4667. PAS is a member FINRA SIPC.
You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the outer islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, senior partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also certified exit planner. We have a pretty good guest today. Patrick, I'm appreciative of you sharing all this stuff in the last 40-something minutes. I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface. Unfortunately, we're running out of time and we have like 4 minutes left. Today's guest is Patrick Bullard. Patrick is the principal of H&B Marketing, Heinrich and Bullard Marketing. So what I do on the end of the show, I usually kind of like ask 3 questions to make it simple. First question is you in relationship to H&B Marketing. What is the future?
Well, we're fortunately I'm still at an age where I can kick around a little while longer and be okay. However, we used to joke when I was younger that no one dies in advertising. It's kind of like, if you work in a hospital or as a doctor or something, people die. Well, over the years I have seen people die in advertising, and I don't want to be one of them. So I've been continuing to work my tail feathers off with our agency and then some other investments and some other business opportunities that I've put together over the last few years that would give me the ability to retire. My wife and I have a retirement plan that we want to enjoy life.
Bucket list.
Yeah. We've got a bucket list of things that we want to do, but it requires hard work to get there, and we're not there yet. There's still some things that need to be done. So I'm grooming people at our agency that I believe can take over for me and fill in and carry on whatever we produce up until the time that I get the flag waving at me that it's time for me to check out of the building.
Well, that's good plan. Second question is, what is your exit strategy? I guess it's kind of gets hand in hand what you just said. So let's be more specific. What's your exit strategy out of this business?
Yeah. So
or any other business.
So in this one and the other ones that I have, it's really just to build it up to a point where one, it could be taken over by somebody that would replace me, if you will. And two, it could be something where we've built it up into enough value that it could be sold. The advertising industry is very different because it is a lot of when your name's on the door, a lot of it is you. Mm-hmm. You're the connections. You're the value.
You're the mastermind behind it.
Yeah. So you're the one that has to continue that on. And I've seen various exit strategies for people that have sold their ad agency business, and yet were continued on as a consultant to some degree so that the business could continue. And then at some point, everybody that is with that entity is familiar with the new regime, and it's able to carry on by itself with no problem.
What is your time frame? You said you have some more energy left.
I do, yeah, and I'm probably one of those crazy people that'll never stop working because, as I mentioned earlier, I can't stop thinking about business and I can't stop myself even if I wanted to. So I've been working on some on a book and some movie scripts and TV show things. That's probably where I'm going to evolve my career at some point. I've worked years ago, fledgling Fox network when they were just getting started. I had the the opportunity to work on a reality TV show that we worked on here in Hawaii called Pure Insanity. I've created a couple other TV shows since then. I worked, as I mentioned, I worked on a TV show on pay-per-view called The Bikini Open, and so I've actually been working with some partners on some TV and some movie ideas, and that's probably where I'll evolve. I'll be sitting in a chair somewhere, drooling, thinking of these ideas.
Awesome. Last question. If someone is starting the business, regardless of the business, you as entrepreneur and business owner, what will be your word of wisdom?
You know, the most important advice is to just work as hard as you can. Put your heart and soul into whatever it is, and always remember there's reverse. You can change gears, you can shift to fix things if things aren't going the right direction. But you're only going to be successful with putting your heart and soul into it. And as the old saying goes, better lucky than good. Well, I believe luck is a part of it, but being good, live with honesty and integrity, and that should be the key to your success.
Perfect. Today's guest, Patrick Bullard, H&B Marketing. Heinrich.com or 5660572. Thank you so much for being guest at Hawaii Money Resource.
Thank you, Marko.
My name is Marko Mijuskovic. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
The Living Balance Sheet and the Living Balance Sheet logo are registered service marks of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, New York, New York. The graphics and text used herein are the exclusive property of Guardian and protected under U.S. and international copyright laws. Copyright 2005 to 2011. The Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. This show is for informational purposes only. Individual risk tolerance and investment objectives must be reviewed prior to making any specific recommendations. Marko Mijuskovic is a registered representative and financial advisor for Park Avenue Securities, LLC, 7 Hanover Square, New York, New York, 10004. Securities products, services, and advisory services are offered through Park Avenue Securities, a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, 888-600-4667. Financial representative, the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, New York, New York. Park Avenue Securities is an indirect, wholly owned subsidiary of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Wealth Strategy Partners is not an affiliate or subsidiary of Park Avenue Securities or the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Park Avenue Securities is a member FINRA SIPC.